think where we stand today is that we've had a very, very illuminating morning discussing for the first time with all the various governors and their representatives the capital, the general capital increase itself. So it's the first time we've had a full brief on it, and I believe that today has brought about a sense of engagement to start with, but also a commonness in the belief that we really, really ought to be scaling up so many folds for us to be able to witness true acceleration and development in Africa. Firstly, what I've seen is that we have a team of people here, starting from the president and the vice presidents and all the various senior people. There's the sense of ownership and a level of passion that makes one think, wow, finally, we're going to see this acceleration that I talked about earlier. Secondly, the program is an ambitious one. And that ambition is stemming from the fact that if we are going to grow the next 10 years, there's so much capital that Africa needs to ensure that we can reach those goals that we've set for ourselves. And all of us have got demands. I as a country have got demands, and all the other countries have got demands, mainly stemming from infrastructure, from energy, and from agriculture. But recognizing that all of us, all the countries that belong, that own this bank, together with the non-regional supporters that we have, all of us knowing and understanding that in fact Africa is the last frontier, and we need to take advantage of the resources that Africa has to ensure that we can bring about that accelerated growth. A consolidation of this theme and a heightening up of the discussions around that amongst ourselves. I think in fact, this came at a time when it's really put us in the right frame for Busan as we go there in the month of May. And the commonness and the understanding that we reach today, I think by the time we're getting to May, we should be in a better frame of mind, having gone back to our respective homes and discussed with all the relevant ministries as to what this means for each of us. Korea, well, we know the story of Korea. It's a very, very interesting one. You know, and they started off a development program that today, when you look back, you say, wow, it can be done. If they can do it, Africa, if we are focused, we can do it. If we put the resource to what we intend to do, it can be done. So Korea, we're going to learn how they've managed to bring themselves to this level of development, how they've managed to harness entrepreneurship, how they've managed to industrialize in this space of time, and the focusedness that they have taken on board to be able to achieve for the people of Korea what they've achieved today. I think it brings me back to what we have identified as the high fives. Those are the priorities. Really, when you think of those high fives, and translate them to the SDGs that we have set for ourselves. If we achieve the high fives, we have achieved the Sustainable Development Goals, and we achieved the accelerated industrialization that we want to achieve. Very relevant indeed, like I said. If you take, for example, the Feed Africa program, and that is really stemming from ensuring that agriculture is being scaled up, and with that comes the agribusiness. That means that we can bring about the value chains that we would want to put, for example, in the production of maize. Why can't I go from maize and go into cornflakes? Why am I bringing somebody else already made cornflakes into my country? Whereas if I said, let's go from maize to cornflakes, we can do it. Okay, that is agriculture and agribusiness. And if we look at the landmass that Africa has, really the population that Africa has, it must be able to feed ourselves. Otherwise, we are importing from all over the place, and as such, we're exporting jobs. If we do it ourselves here and we begin to feed ourselves, I see even the control at the macro level of the economies being much more manageable. My inflation is mainly food. So if I'm feeding Africa and producing in Africa, I'm able to control some of these inflationary pressures that are hitting our economies every so often. So those high fives are very, very important in their entirety.